Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you are doing well. Today the video is about IUPAC nomenclature tips and trick. There are almost 9 tips and trick after which you will be able to name any organic compound. So let's proceed towards the tip number 1. So here we go. The tip number 1 is to identify the parent hydrocarbon chain. The parent hydrocarbon chain will be a longest continuous carbon chain. So you have to look for the longest continuous carbon chain even if the given compound is not straight. And you have to give the name according to the number of carbons. If number of carbon is 1, then it would be methane if the homologous series is alkane. If carbon number 2, then it would be ethane, and so on. Here you have a simple trick. If there are 2 or more chains of equal length, then you have to choose one with more number of substituents. So here is the practice problem 1.1, in which you have to identify the longest continuous carbon chain. Remember, you have to select that chain in which maximum number of carbon appear. So comment your answer either with 1 or 2. Let's proceed with the next tip. Tip number 2 is you have to number the carbon atoms after selecting the longest chain, and you have to given the lowest possible number to the substituents, branches or the functional group. For example, if the same carbon chain has the OH group and COOH group or double triple bond, you have to prioritize the hydroxyl group and carboxylic group first, followed by the double and triple bond, then other substituents. And if in the case the same number is obtained from the both ends, prioritize the substituents that comes first alphabetically. Then you have to follow the alphabetical order. Here comes the practice problem 2.1, in which you have to number the carbon atom, keeping in mind the tip number 2. Comment your answer in which way you have started numbering the carbon atom, from the right direction or the left direction. So students, after the identification of the parent chain, it's time to name the substituents, that is the branches attached to that parent chain. So these are mostly alkyl groups which are named by replacing the A and E with the YL. For example, if the parent chain is attached to the methyl group, so it will be named as methyl, ethyl, propyl, that is A and E will be replaced with YL. And if halogen groups are present, they will be named as fluoro, chloro, bromo, iodo. Other common substituents includes nitro group, hydroxy group, and the amine group. Now it's the time for the practice problem 3.1. You have to name this compound given by naming the substituent attached to it. So name it in the comments. So after the identification of substituents, now we have to assign locants, that is numbers, to them. So you have to write the substituent in the alphabetical order. Ignore the prefixes like di, tri, tetra. For example, you have to write it as 3-ethyl 2-methyl pentane, that is by following the alphabetical order, and not 2-methyl 3-ethyl propane. The functions group will take the priority. The highest priority will be taken by the carboxylic group, followed by the ester group, then aldehyde, ketone, alcohol, and amine. The prefixes will be used for the lower priority groups. For example, hydroxy for the OH. If a higher group is attached to the parent carbon. Chain. Now here comes the practice problem 4.1, and as usual name it in the comment section. Tip number 6 says naming alkene and alkyne. So this is very simple. You have to add E and E for the double bond and Y and E for the triple bond. And you have to number the chain as to give the multiple bond the lowest number. For example, in the compound given, you have to name it as prop 1 ene and not prop 2 ene. And for the cyclic compounds, you just have to add the term cyclo before the parent name and number the substituents to give the lowest possible number. Prioritize the function group as studied earlier. Now solve this practice problem 5.1 and answer them in the comments. Some compounds have widely accepted common names, for example acetone, as its IUPAC name is prop2-one, but its common name is acetone. So you have to learn these names because they can appear in the exam. Next is the mnemonic and shortcut. You can also make some mnemonics to remember the priority. For example, eat peanut butter. This is the mnemonic for the priority order of ester, phenol and benzene. So this is practice with examples. So you can practice from these examples. Last is the common mistakes that you have to avoid. Number 1 is not counting the longest chain correctly or the incorrect numbering. Always prioritize the functional groups. And do not forget the alphabetical order for the substituents. And in the last, please do not forget to subscribe and like the video. Share it with your friends. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.